What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at our 2016 Audi S3 with our buddy Connor's 2017 Volkswagen Jetta GLI. Now both of these cars, if you're unfamiliar, are part of the same Volkswagen Audi group company, and there's a pretty different price discrepancy. This S3 with about 35,000 miles is worth mid 30,000s. This Volkswagen Jetta GLI with the same mileage, roughly the same year, is worth about $20,000. So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about how these two cars contrast, how they differ. And you guys have seen Connor on the channel with several of his cars. He sold the WRX STI. Now that he is a pilot, you guys have seen that in previous videos. And why did you buy the GLI now?
Well, I reached a point where I had the nice car and I had the crappy car. And I was ready to move on from the nice car to get a nicer car sooner than later. But I wanted something more reliable to take to work. So I found a nice compromise for my daily work commuter, for lack of better expression.
So something that you could park at the airport while you're flying and...
Correct. Something I could enjoy a little bit, feel confident in, but like if it gets a ding, I feel comfortable leaving it overnight in a parking lot.
Right. Makes sense. So let's go ahead and test drive each car. We'll get our bearings with how the all-wheel drive S3 feels, the front-wheel drive Volkswagen feels. Let's go over some specs real quick and see how these cars are like. Now underneath the hood of both cars is a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged motor. The GLI pumps out 210 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of torque. This is front-wheel drive with a 6-speed dual-clutch transmission. The Audi has the same engine, same transmission, however it's tuned up to 292 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. You're also looking at 4 seconds flat 0 to 60 for the S3, about 5.8 seconds for the Volkswagen, and then the Audi's wheelbase is 103.6 inches, while the Volkswagen's is slightly larger at 104.4 inches. Alright guys, so we are setting off now in the GLI. It definitely feels kind of similar with the S3. The dash is right there.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same platform overall, same sizing. It's a very familiar car already. I'd say maybe just a little bit older technology given the Volkswagen version versus the Audi.
Yeah, Audi's going to get the new stuff first, right?
Yep. They got to make your money go to something, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
So normal driving, we're just in drive. The only real drive modes, I guess, are putting the transmission into more of the sport mode or the manual mode.
Correct. Yeah, just 3 options. Either manual shift or sport mode, which basically holds the revs, a little better throttle response. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Steering wheel looks the same. Buttons are all different, like we kind of mentioned. Ride quality's nice, and like you said, you're taking this to the airport all the time. You're driving on the highway, so it seems like a nice car to just rack up miles, and you can be in comfort at least.
Correct. Yeah, I like that it has a good ride quality to it. Great MPG, which was a huge step up from the old Nissan and especially the STI.
Yeah, I can assume so.
So it's great for commutability, which is all I was really looking for.
Yeah.
You know, a classy interior, but checked all the boxes for a daily driver.
Yeah, I mean, like we had talked about before you bought this, like what affordable good car is still fun that you can get, and this kind of checks a lot of boxes. You were looking for automatic mainly because of just the commuting aspect, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I did a lot of research and went through a lot of different cars that would have fit the bill, but I liked the Jetta platform. I think it's a sporty enough looking car that still has a little classiness to the outside.
Yeah.
I know the German cars always do well with the interiors. It's got a really good sound system with the Fender audio, which with a car that doesn't have exhaust is something that's actually nice.
Yeah, I can definitely hear you on that.
And then of course the gas mileage. Usually it's in the mid-30s as long as I'm not having too much fun, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. So with this car, front-wheel drive is going to be the biggest differentiation from the Audi, and then basically it's the same engine, just detuned.
Yep. Like
80 horsepower and about 70 torque or so.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it makes sense. I mean, obviously you're talking about 20-ish grand versus 35-ish grand. You can get a higher mileage S3 for under 30, and I would assume a high mileage one of these is probably in the teens.
Oh yeah, I found plenty of these for more like 15, 16, 17, but knowing that I wanted to keep this for a long time, as it's what it's for, I wanted to get it so it'll last.
Right. That's up to 60, so it doesn't throw you back in your seat, but it gets up to speed.
And I've noticed a big difference with 1 versus 2 people too. So it's one of those cars with the engine size that you can feel the difference in acceleration when it's just me versus 2 people.
Right.
But
I will say taking turns, like,
well, I've got performance tires on it. I got the not Michelin's, but at least the Goodyear Eagle Sport. So just enough to know I got that extra line of security.
It seems to handle well. I mean, again, it's still a German platform. Volkswagen's not going to give you something that doesn't handle well. When you take turns and everything, smooth to drive. Like you said, you can still have fun with it, do stuff that you want.
Yeah, I feel confident that it'll make the turns, it'll handle, and it's enough to definitely merge into traffic and enough to keep you firm in your seat.
Yeah.
Not going to throw you back by any means, but better than no feeling at all.
For real. Yeah. Up to speed.
That's all you need.
So I know
for a daily drive.
Yeah. So I know this car kind of competes with like a Civic Si sedan, especially. Obviously automatic or manual, but this is significantly quicker than the Si, given this has the torque from the turbo and everything.
Yeah, the Si was the car I learned how to drive a manual on. So my dad owned one, and I have a good comparison.
Yeah.
They're quick.
Yeah.
They're peppy. They rev out. Great manual transmission.
Yeah.
But the torque is just not there. So even what little throwback in the seat this gives you, that's pretty much non-existent in an SI.
Yeah.
And I feel like this may be a slightly heavier car, but it's still fairly tossable.
Yeah.
So I would probably still pick this over that. Comparable MPG, and I'd say a nicer interior, a more comfortable place to be in this car.
Yeah, I mean the seats are well padded. You do have an open interior. The dual clutch also is pretty smooth. Like it does what it needs to do. It's
that was very surprising.
And it's nice how it's not a CVT or a torque converter even. So it's cool to give you a cool transmission in this car.
Yeah, that was a really nice plus for this, because I feel like it allows you to also enjoy the manual abilities with the automatic transmission as well.
Right.
One of the nice things that overlap between the two cars.
Yeah. All right, so now in the S3, which has almost 100 more horsepower. Definitely peppy. You can definitely feel the extra power in this. If we tone it down to individual or comfort mode, so this car does have drive modes a lot more than what we saw in the Volkswagen. Has adaptive dampers, steering changes, things like that. So a little bit more in depth in the performance settings, I would say.
Yeah, the things you would expect to see as you tier up, almost like options, even if they were to be the same platform.
Yeah.
They'd say, okay, you get the next tier up, so here are the next bells and whistles, which is to be expected.
Yeah, and for $15,000, kind of what we're looking for in this car, are we seeing that value? Yeah. And seeing real drive modes with suspension, steering changes and things, that definitely is worth something.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of difference. Some interior things we're noticing, it's very similar. This dash kind of sticks out more, which is just kind of the shape's a little different.
Yeah, a little more aggressive shape to the dash, but similar dimensions, everything, they're just both compact. I know I still have a lot of the nicer touches inside, but everything is just that nicer tier up. All the materials in here feel a little bit nicer to touch. Everything's a little crisper. Both have leather seats. Your sunroof does seem to be a little bigger. I have that, but yours is, of course, nicer. Your gauge cluster seems a little cleaner, and of course, what we just experienced, I definitely felt that extra power. So that is definitely there.
And then the brakes in this are definitely a little bit more touchy, a little bit more performance-focused brakes. I'd say it handles a little bit flatter. We got some, obviously the twisties we'll go through. I do have lowering springs on this. However, they're not the craziest stiffer spring rate overstock, but the dampers probably are the biggest thing we're going to notice as far as handling.
Yeah.
But overall ride quality, the Volkswagen still felt comfortable and quiet and normal for like cruising.
Yeah, and it stays fairly flat. At the end of the day, it's still a Jetta, so it's not going to have that over stiffness. It's not going to have that performance-y level to it. I think the GLI mostly just adds the power in anything.
Power, a little bit of styling, I would say.
And then the transmission. But other than that, I can definitely feel that they put a little more sport focus overall into this car, which I guess checks another box for the price increase.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. We'll play with the twisties. We'll go back to dynamic mode.
Yeah, wish I had that.
Yeah, it is cool. This one with the black optics package is actually a performance package, so that gives you the adaptive suspension in it. Definitely a lot more power, definitely. It's funny though, I wonder if you could tune the Volkswagen's engine to be exactly the same as this.
APR is the company that comes to mind that I've heard.
Yeah.
Has a lot of different tiers, 1, 2, 3, stage tunes and everything. Which is something I'd be considering, and I think could put it closer to this realm. The two biggest obstacles I would face is, one, the front wheel drive. I have experienced a friend's GTI who was tuned and
torque steer.
It's just, well, it just spins.
Yeah.
You're not actually able to put a tremendous amount of that power down, which is another advantage of the all-wheel drive with this platform.
Yeah, I can see that.
And two, the end of the day, I want that car for reliability. I want to be able to keep driving it until the wheels fall off, and I don't want to put any risk to it.
Yeah. So going through the twisties in this car, I mean, it definitely handles the next step up. It's tighter, steering wheel's tighter.
Yeah.
I think the transmission maybe feels a little more responsive, which I could see them tuning that to be a little sharper as well.
Yeah. It's hard to tell because you can definitely hear it. It sometimes may be mixed up with the fact you can hear it with the exhaust, but yeah, I think it might be a little crisper.
Quick?
Yeah, I would say so. Oh yeah, that steering is it's just that fraction better that gives you that real sharp feedback.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a more sporty steering wheel, I'd say too. It feels a little smaller.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's so flat through the turns too.
So one thing a lot of people comment when we film like cars like the Volkswagen or like this is people saying this is just more money because of the badge. So that's kind of, are we finding that with this car, I guess?
Which is something that I find myself guilty of saying as well.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of those cars like that. But I think that only really applies at the base level. So if you get the A3, a regular 3 Series BMW, you know, or whatever with the Mercedes, I think those are the ones that you pay extra for the badge because what really else are you getting?
I can see that.
But then you actually get into a top trim level of a Volkswagen and then get into the entry sport level of one of these, and you can see the difference.
Right.
Or feel the difference, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. The difference is instead of just a little bit of pressing into the seat, I can feel my whole body into the seat. So the power difference is absolutely there, and I think that's going to be a personal preference because what divides these cars is what's really the use.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to put yourself in a situation similar to mine where your car needs to be in places that you can feel less confident about its well-being, this might not be the car.
Right.
But if you want something with a similar platform and covers all the boxes and has all the same uses, but has that next level of fun factor, truly, this does a great job.
Yeah.
It really does.
And with the Volkswagen, like we mentioned off camera, for the same price, you probably could have got like a Camry or Corolla or Civic or something from a lesser brand, I would say, in the sense of cool factor.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest things that guided me to purchasing the GLI was all the other things that most people get for that same purpose for very similar cost.
Yeah.
You're going to be an incredibly basic interior. You're going to have just cloth seats, all plastic trim. I just feel like it's such a step up for what you get inside and the feel and the experience and all the tactile aspects of the car for a very budget-friendly cost.
Because if you could have spent 20 grand on a Corolla, which would be way slower.
Oh, so yeah, there would be no fun factor at all.
Yeah, no fun factor, no handling characteristics, cloth, and like...
And I think as an automotive enthusiast, the GLI is just in a little segment of its own where it at least covers a little bit of that need and that fun factor.
Yeah. All right, guys, so we have completed our test drive in the S3 versus the Volkswagen Jetta GLI. Personally, I think they're both worth the price point. You know, these are similar year, mileage and everything, 15,000 hour difference. The S3 has acceleration and handling, the extra performance that if it is more of like your only car or something to where you're gonna use it on the day-to-day, obviously it's been my wife's car for about 2 years. She wants something fun she can zip around in, and when I take it around, I want to be able to drive it like I drive my own car. So that suited our needs perfectly, and 35 grand is still very affordable in today's market. Your car, for your needs, it still gives you the fun factor, and yet it's incredibly more affordable at 20 grand.
I think yours is the entire package. I think for a fully functioning daily driving sports car, I think it's the full package.
Right.
I think this is the slightly less budget-friendly daily driver.
Yeah.
Instead of going all the way bottom tier, if you still have any automotive enthusiast blood running through you,
right,
and you need a little something, this gives you that little bit that you're like, okay, I can deal with this. I don't need all that, but I want something.
And I would assume, like we said, an A3 probably would go for the same money as this car, but probably wouldn't be the same fun factor, I would assume.
I doubt it.
I guess we would have to drive it to really know, but
yeah, that would have to be another comparison.
Yeah. Evan's got an A3, let's talk.
Yeah, bring it all down.
But I could see that being to where you're then paying an extra maybe $5,000 to get the Audi logo when the Volkswagen is probably the more fun version. Correct. I could see.
So I think what we concluded based on feeling the performance and just even the aesthetics of the cars. I mean, this is a Jetta body. I think it's sporty enough, but then of course the lines, the curves, the edges, Audi puts in that extra touch. So I think the money difference is worth it, truly. But I as all reviews come down to, it's what your need is. What are you actually getting this car for?
So I think that sums it up. We've kind of wanted to do this comparison since you bought this car, because it is like the same thing, just
they feel the same. Metal to metal, they're such similar dimensions.
Very similar cars, just if you want the extra power and performance, a top-notch Audi 3 Series definitely gives you the extra thing. But if you want a very affordable, budget-friendly daily, could be maybe your first car, your second car, something like that. Obviously,
just that touch of fun.
Right. Yeah, you get a lot of what the Audi has with the tech, the style, the fun factor, but at that lower price point. So cool options. If you're in the market for an affordable sedan, these are two really good options depending on your budgets, depending on your needs. I would recommend both cars, honestly.
Absolutely. They both fit the price bill. Just what do you need them for?
So comment below, what do you guys think? For those of you who own the GLI and an S3, what do you guys think? You think they are worth the price point? $15,000 difference, year and mileage equal? Comment below. But that is it for today's video. We will have to stay tuned with Connor maybe in the next year to see the car that'll sit alongside this. He's been making some crazy moves. You guys have seen when he sold the WRX to become a pilot, then he bought the STI, then sold that. He's a pilot, and we have ran into him in the airport a few times, which is actually pretty wild.
Great times.
But cool things coming for sure. We'll see you guys in the next video.